Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 15-2 of 40 Something Podcast. I'm Trevor Schaefer, and joining me to my left, your right, Jerry Mullen.
Yes, this is episode 15,
Yeah.
round 2.
If you're wondering why, we recorded a great episode last week for episode 15, and I was an asshole. I fucked it up, and I only recorded me.
You're kind of always an asshole.
I
wait,
am.
no, never. Yeah, all right, yeah,
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
But we were having a problem with the buzzing last week, and I was rerouting wires on the mixer and changing settings on the Mac, and didn't realize until the next morning when I went to mix it down that it was just me talking to myself, not even on this mic, on the built-in mic on the iMac. So you not only heard myself, you heard my wife watching TV, my kids watching TV, my dogs running around. You heard exactly what was going on in my house for an hour and a half, which nobody needs to hear that. You don't want to live here. It is horrible. I mean, by horrible, I mean lovely. It is great having two small children destroy your house every day.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is. Yes. So somebody said on Facebook once, having kids is like cleaning up after a party you had nothing to do with.
Yes. In fact, I just told a friend of mine, they were complaining about their house being messy all the time. And I said, wise man once said, cleaning a house with a toddler is like eating Oreos and brushing your teeth at the same time. No matter how much you clean, it's going to be dirty still.
Man, that's just nasty. So we're going to try to rehash some of last week's episode.
Yes.
Some. We're not going to bother with some shit, and this will not be the YouTube show again. I promise.
No more. We may reference YouTube every once in a while, but it's not going to be an hour and a half of our favorite YouTube channels.
But I really found it funny today when we were chatting on. We'll go into the Snapchat.
Yeah.
We were chatting on Snapchat today, which using that over 40 is hilarious. But we were both watching the new episode of LGR at the same time.
That's great.
I know. I had just clicked it on, and I sent you something on Snapchat. You sent me back, and I'm like, I'm watching the same thing. That's kind of creepy. But it's such a good show.
It is.
I want that computer, too. I want that.
And my wife, that's one of the very few like tech geeky YouTube channels besides Tested that she actually looks forward to watching. She's like, she goes, I don't know what it is, but I really like that guy. And the ironic thing is she didn't really get into him until I showed her LGR Foods.
Does he still do that?
He does. And the funny thing is, I mean, if you ever, LGR is, he's a nostalgia guy. He deals in games and hardware, but it's all vintage. He doesn't emulate or anything. He'll get old computers, refurbish them. He'll get old vintage parts, build brand new computers. But he has this series called LGR Foods, which is just him in this sultry voice making a sandwich where, here comes more of that ham. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just, it's wrong on so many levels. And my wife is just like, I can't stop watching him make a sandwich.
I know. It shows like that are a train wreck.
They are.
They are. You can't look away, but you should, you know?
And then
it's like the guy I watch for woodworking. Woodworking generally fascinates me,
Mm-hmm.
but the way the guy talks and the $1 million of equipment that he has isn't hard to watch either. But it's like, I can't stop watching it. It's like how it's made.
Oh,
You don't
how
care
it's
that
made.
they're making.
No.
You don't care that they're making Oreos or hot dogs, that's pretty gross, or whatever it is, but you're just fascinated by the fact that it's made by a machine.
Yes. And it doesn't matter what they're doing. There are some YouTube channels and some creators and some shows, no matter what they're doing, you'll just watch because it was like New Yankee Workshop.
Oh, I can watch that every day.
You didn't care what Norm was making, but you knew you'd learn something while watching him.
Yes. Very much. I still watch PBS on Saturdays when I can.
Well, all the episodes of New Yankee Workshop are up on thisoldhouse.com, I think it is. I don't think it's .org. I think it's .com. They got the rights to them all. So.
Oh, good. Maybe I'll watch them there. But I still watch This Old House.
I love This Old House. Ask This Old House.
Yeah, I think I particularly find the plumber guy interesting because I know zero about plumbing. So every time I watch something on that, I learn. I actually learn.
Funny story. This was, I think it was in the spring. My mom called me in a panic. Basically, she I'm sorry. This is just hilarious. In her house, yeah, in her house, in her kitchen, there used to be an old portable dishwasher. And they had taken it out years ago, and there's two lines there. One's a water supply, one's a drain line. Well, the water supply is shut off. The drain line is just, it's a piece of copper coming out. They just never capped it off. My mom was doing the dishes. She ran the garbage disposal. Well, I should back this up. She was doing the dishes. The sink backed up a little bit. So she ran the garbage disposal, see if there was anything stuck in there. And all of a sudden, all this water started shooting out of the drain hole, coming out of the wall like a fountain into the middle of her kitchen. Yeah, pretty much. So immediately she called me. I checked every drain in her house was clogged. So she had something somewhere. So I went and got like 5 gallons of liquid plumber, which I swear by, poured it in every drain, and we started going from top to bottom. So we started in the tub filled right up. Started in the bathroom sink upstairs. That was still filling up. Went downstairs. That was filling up. Finally, I'm like, you know what? I have an idea. I watched enough of this old house. Went upstairs and I flushed the toilet. And the entire house literally went... and everything drained at once. She goes, how the hell did you know how to do that? I said, Rich Trethrui, he always said, if you have a blocked drain, introduce air. And there was enough air in that toilet flush to undo the vacuum and just boom. And I'm like, high five, Rich. High five.
Yeah,
you know?
I've learned a lot from that show, you know. And you know what? It really is one of the last, like, and the first of its kind to do that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They really started that,
well,
which is great.
They just premiered the last week. Yeah, last week, and it's their 40th season. So I just turned 41, you're 41, so they started back in 1976. So that gives you, no, 78, I'm sorry, my math is wrong. So, I know.
Over 40.
As my wife does to me now very normally, whenever I get math wrong, she goes, hashtag head of her education.
Oh, that's like beyond below the belt.
But it's not wrong sometimes.
I can always bring up that T-shirt I always wanted to get for your wife and one friend that she didn't talk to anymore anyway. But that says "Jersey girls aren't trash. Trash gets picked up." But I always said that's on. I think that's on T-shirt L actually.
Nice.
Yeah, I always wanted to like make that as a gag gift for your wife, but I like you guys too much.
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I always thought I drew a fine line with your wife, but finding out later I didn't, so I didn't want to ruin that.
Yeah, if there was a line, you would just like pole vault over that line.
Yeah. It would be like when Roadrunner Coyote would just have him step over the line and he'd fall off a cliff.
Exactly.
So,
Yes.
So we'll go back to Snapchat. Trevor and I have discovered Snapchat. I've had it for a long time.
Well, I shouldn't say I discovered it. I tried it like a year and a half ago. I installed it, signed up for it, realized I'm too old to figure it out, and promptly uninstalled it. And after last week's episode, you said you were using it and that I should try it. And you're the only reason I'm using Snapchat, and I will agree, it's not that bad. It's different, and different in a good way.
It's basically a messaging service without. It's basically like AOL Instant Messenger, but a lot cooler, I guess, if you can think of it in that sense.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I would say, well, yeah, nothing is going to be cool as AOL Instant Messenger, because the best part of AOL Instant Messenger was crafting the perfect away message.
Yes.
I would love away messages for text messaging, because I would spend most of my day creating the perfect away message, and you always had those friends that, included the song lyrics in the bio and how they were feeling, and the people who just said, I'm away. Just you don't want to be friends with them. You wanted to have something creative,
Yeah. Shutting down for routine maintenance for the next 8 to 10 hours. That was always one of my favorites.
Exactly. I mean, that's the shit you want.
So over the week, me and you have been, I looked at it. The last time we actually texted each other was Wednesday or Tuesday, but we've Snapchatted successfully like all week. And it's pretty much been chat and not pictures.
True.
I think once in a
yeah.
I think we sent each other one, and it's probably just be like, hey, I should probably do this.
That's not what we're about.
Yeah. We don't need to see we see each other here. That's it.
I know what your ugly mug looks like. I've known you for 30 years?
Hold on. right about there. Yeah.
You got an itch right there.
Yeah, it
You're
seems to be
working on
right
that?
here.
Yeah.
it seems to be right about here. So I've known Trevor since I was like, I don't know.
Actually, 7th grade is when I met you.
Yeah, so that was a long time ago.
So that would have been 1990. So that would be, holy
28
shit,
years.
28 years.
We're old men now.
We are very old men.
I have to go.
Technically, I've known you more than half my life. So
Yeah. Yeah, so Snapchat's fun, and we have a mutual friend that uses it too,
Mhm.
which won't mention any names there, but it's really nice. It actually does keep you in contact, and it's more like text messages are impersonal. I think it's sometimes, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? You can't convey sarcasm in a text message, or you can't really display it. You can.
I use that. How many times have I used the hashtag sarcasm?
Yeah, but you have to do that because
Yeah.
sometimes your sarcasm is so on point that people think you're serious.
Actually, wait. I take that back. I have always been anti-hashtag. I use the HTML code for the bracket sarcasm and then /
Yeah.
sarcasm. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've always been anti-hat. I don't think I've ever used a hashtag in my life unless I was part of a contest to win something and you have to tweet with a hashtag.
I remember we used to. Jason was big on the hashtags. He
Oh
still
my
is.
God.
And then we finally just turned on him one day. Hashtags are stupid. This is ridiculous. And we went on and on with it for
Do
a
you
long time.
remember? It was before Foursquare, which I don't even think they exist anymore. They got bought up by Buzz something. But before all that, when he got his first iPhone, the very first iPhone, no, because it couldn't have been that iPhone because then it was the iPhone 2 introduced the App Store, I believe, was Bright Kite.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he checked in everywhere. If he stopped for 30 seconds at a stoplight, he checked in with
Yeah.
Bright Kite, and it would
Yeah.
constantly post to his Twitter. And I would get 35 notifications an hour of where he was and where he's been.
Unfollow.
It was pretty much I stopped having his texts. That was back then when you could have Twitter
Yeah.
tweets go right to your phone via text, and
Yeah.
that got him
I
shut
don't
off
know if
immediately.
can you still update Twitter with a text?
I don't know.
You used to be able to. It used to be 40404. It was the
Yeah.
number. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah. I wonder if that actually
Let's
works.
see here.
All right, hold on.
New
message.
text. I bet you have Twitter saved. Twitter.
I do have it saved.
Let's see here. How about we'll just go bite me at Jerry. Invalid number. Okay, let's try another one there.
Hold on.
It was 4044, right?
40404.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Oh, mine went through. Let's see if it went to my Twitter feed. This is we're sorry to slow the show down here, people.
Sorry, yeah, this is.
But to the 4 people that watch this, you'll love it.
Oh wait,
Mine went through.
mine just went through. Okay, yeah.
So that still works. Hey, way to go. Old technology still binding with the new. So, even though I really don't use Twitter.
Although mine, for some reason, posted with 40-something podcast. Interesting. So the podcast just told you to bite me.
Yeah, you could delete it.
So
But Snapchat's pretty fun. I have to
it is pretty fun. What I like about it, and this is coming from the tinfoil hat wearing Trevor, is you could set it to automatically erase as soon as you read something. So
Yeah, my problem with that is that I'm not a particularly memory-filled soul. And, like, if we're in the middle of a conversation,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck was he talking?
Well,
so
you-
anymore, I save the last thing you send me because you can tap on it and save it.
okay.
Yeah, so I tap on it, and then when you send me something new, I get rid of it because I'm like, what the fuck is he talking about?
And see, for me, I like that because if I go into your file, because I don't know if you know, but you could go into Messenger and iOS and see everything we've ever sent and how long it saves, and with all the pictures. I think yours is up to almost 3 gigabytes of text messages and pictures we've sent
Holy
over the
fuck.
years that this automatically erases, and I don't have to worry about any kind of storage anywhere.
Yeah.
So
I like it for our more personal conversations. I think
Yes.
it's very useful for that. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Yeah.
Stuff that.
It's good for therapy.
Not only that, I could see it. The best way to put this, I could see it being very useful for an instantaneous rant that you may not want. I don't want to say you don't want to take back later, but something that you just want to get off your chest and there's no evidence afterwards.
Yes, exactly.
Like I could just go, you know what? Fuck you, go fuck yourself. And then it disappears seconds later. And then it's like, we're back to normal. There's no record of
I
that.
think you sent that to me already.
Oh, I just did.
Yeah. Okay. So.
But yes, if you told me at 41 years old I'd be using Snapchat of all things.
I think we called it Snatch Chat back in the day.
Well, they still call it that because if you go on Tumblr and type in Snapchat babes, it's an interesting. Yep, pick up your phone.
Yeah. Hang on. Do I have Tumblr on here? I don't remember if I have it or not. I think I do because I remember it updates.
Yeah, there used to be a whole
Tumblr,
section for Snapchat babes, and it's the girls that like to send the nude Snapchats that people take screenshots of. That is, I will say, the one thing I don't care about for Snapchat is if you take a screenshot, it notifies the other person of the screenshot.
Yes,
So,
it's obnoxious.
I noticed that.
I've tried some of the things you told me about that.
Yeah.
But every time I try to switch between the app and to try other things, I'm not going to even say what it is because people might understand what we're talking about.
I have not been successful doing that yet. So, but I think that's the one obnoxious thing that, to me, for something that's supposed to be private like that, you're now making it very public.
Oh my God Almighty!
You found the area, didn't you?
This Tumblr has no posts. Hold on. Oh, dear God Almighty!
Damn it! I'm having a drink again.
Yeah. Holy crap! That's not as good as that group I put you on Facebook, though.
No, and I thank you for that. Well, there are times I thank you for that, and there are times I hate you for it. The times
it pulls up your feed.
No. That's not a bad thing. The bad thing is when I'm like, say I'm laying down in bed, and I'm just thumbing through Facebook, and my son comes over and lays down next to me. What are you doing? Nothing, just thumbing through Facebook, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, faster, scroll faster.
What I do is when I was sitting with Kate the other day on my chair, and I'm just going through my face. I was watching a video on Facebook, and the next thing up was from that page, and I'm like,
yeah,
button. Swipe up.
I love that group you sent me in, but sometimes it's just a wee inconvenient.
Yeah. It's for me, not really for anybody else. So,
can I bring up? Sorry, go ahead.
And if you want to be part of that group, tough shit, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I thank you for signing me up for that group. So.
Okay, so go ahead. You were gonna say.
Oh, I did bring up my son. I did want to tell you a story I told you beforehand of my son, and this is something you and I will completely appreciate on many different levels. So today was his 9th birthday, and right before bedtime, he goes, normally bedtime is 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock, we start calming down. Well, tonight we were cleaning a lot because tomorrow's his birthday party, which is not here, but a lot of my wife's family is coming over after the party. So no one should know how you truly live, is my belief. So you kind of want to project that you live a little better to extended family that you don't see all the time.
I always say this. They always say this about work, and when people come into work, and you get like the big manager guys, that come up in it. It's not the fact that your place looks like crap; is that you took the time to clean it up for somebody. That's the thing about it. Manager taught me that.
Okay. See, to me, no one should know how we really live.
No. And let me honestly say this. My downstairs and my upstairs is really good. My attic and my basement, not so much.
And I'm actually just kind of the opposite. It's like my basement, my wife just cleaned my basement the other day, which was fantastic. So the basement actually looks good. I was down our property clearing out Autumn Olive, and she actually cleaned the basement. Our attic is what my mother used to call a blivet, which I think is just a local term that just means a shithole.
I've never heard that word ever.
Oh, yeah. My mother always used that word. It's a place you throw everything, never to deal with it. Yeah, the blue room at the cemetery.
Okay,
yep, that was the blivet.
Yeah, okay.
Our living room, I've always heard two different things. You either have a house or a home. We have a home. We have it where there's always blankets on the couch. There's usually a couple dirty dishes, usually more, in the sink, but it's comfortable. Where
You're right.
I've been in houses.
It's lived in.
Yes, it's lived
Yes.
in. Where I've been to people's houses growing up, where they always had that room with the nice furniture that you don't sit in there. We don't
not
use
touch
that
stuff.
room. That's
don't
the
use
room,
that room.
that's the room you look at with the nice furniture. You never sit in there. Everything here is used in.
It's like the set of dishes my wife has in that corner cabinet that we've never used.
Exactly. Yes.
I understand they're like a relatives and they're probably very expensive dishes, but what good is a dish you don't put a cheeseburger on?
My mother the other day was trying to get rid of her china from her wedding. And she's like, "Do you want it?" I said, "Well, I have my grandmother's china that is still packed away in our attic that I don't know if we'll ever use, but my wife liked it. We took it. I don't need a second set of china that
Yeah.
I'll never use,
Full!
Yeah. I mean, back then that was the big thing, but not now. So back to my story. So
Okay, there we go. No.
because we were cleaning, my son goes, "Dad, can we play Mortal Kombat," meaning Mortal Kombat 9, before bedtime? I said, "Absolutely, buddy. It's been a while since we played." So, and this was the proud papa moment. Not only did he get so good with Freddy Krueger that I actually had a hard time beating him. But this is a thing, Jerry, you're going to appreciate the most. After about a half hour playing, he goes, "Oh my God, my thumb is killing me." And I went, "Son, you're a Mortal Kombat player now."
Yeah. You've graduated to a whole new level.
I said, "Buddy," I said, "you should." He said, "After Jerry and I play for 2 or 3 hours," I said, "I can't feel my thumb. It's mush." He goes, "You guys play for 2 or 3 hours?" I said, "Oh, at least."
Yeah.
I said, "You kids today are so coddled with analog joysticks. You don't know the pain of a D-pad for 2 or 3 hours straight."
Yeah, no, absolutely. There were times where the next day, or if we were played successive days, 'cause we used to do that too, I would have to put like tape or a Band-Aid on my thumb. 'Cause it hurts. That shit hurts.
It does.
You know that? You don't get that playing. Thanks, Mr. Motorcycle. Anyway, you don't get that playing like console games for some reason. Shooters on consoles.
Okay,
let's
shooters
say.
on. Yeah,
Shooters on consoles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why when we play like old shooters together, like we play Blood and everything like that, what we do, I always use my controller because A, I suck at a mouse and keyboard.
And I'm
And
just
B,
the opposite.
Yeah, I see, you're just the opposite. But and B, it's just because it doesn't, like a mouse and keyboard gets to me after a while. It's like being hawked over it, and the way you sit and shit. But man, I could do it another time. We're due for a match.
We are overdue.
We're overdue for a match.
Yes. Like we said, Christmas Vacation 2020. It's on.
Yeah, it is. But we have to get. It was your son's birthday. They posted on Facebook. It's time for us to play him in Doom 2. It really
Yes,
is.
It is.
I think we need to get a real deathmatch game, not Doom the new Doom.
No, old school Doom 2, 1993?
Whatever.
1993 or 4 Doom 2 came out. Right around there.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I totally agree that, I mean, I'll be honest, I used to take it easy on him all the time. And it wasn't until we got the complete collection that he took a shine to Freddy Krueger. And I will be honest, he is a little bastard with him. And I don't get mad. I get proud. I'm like,
It is. It's a
damn.
proud moment, Like, when I was, a friend of mine has a son who's big into gaming, and I was over his house. This is when Mortal Kombat X had just come out, and he was actually worried about playing me at it.
Really?
Yeah, he actually was worried about it. He was like, well, who does he, he's asking his parents, like, who does he use, and all this and all this and all this. And I really didn't play much of Mortal Kombat X. I bought it, but I was like, I never got into it like I did the other ones for some reason.
And I've never played it, and I kind of regret that, I'll be honest with you, because that is one of probably 3 games that I would buy a PS4 for.
4-2? No, okay.
No.
Now 5-15-2, that worked.
That'd be one of the games I would buy a PS4 to play.
Okay, there you go.
So
That's like how I bought my Xbox, just for Halo.
that's all it is. It's a Halo
Yeah,
machine.
it's a Halo machine. But and he was really worried about it. And I can honestly say the kid was good. He kicked my ass. But I walked away more proud than upset.
Exactly.
Like I know the next generation is in
Yes.
good hands at this
Yes.
point, So
Like when my son builds a Doom 2 level, because he's big into that I have a hard time playing. And I go to him, I said, okay, this is unfair. I can't beat this. And he goes, Dad, it's beatable. I said, show me. And he'll beat that motherfucking level, and I'll go,
that's right.
bravo, my son, bravo. You got the skills.
Yeah.
So
We're gonna play him on Dead Simple.
ooh.
Yeah, that's it. That's got a nice open arena setup, all the weapons, no BFG 9000.
So, no, I think we may have to set that up. And
Yeah.
I'm very.
That'll give us the opportunity to learn how to set that up.
That is true. And I again, as a geek dad, I'm very proud of him. All he wants for his birthday is cash to build a brand new computer.
Yeah, there you
To
go.
play games. He's huge into Fallout right now. So he wants Fallout 76. So I priced him out 2 different tiers of systems. A tier that will just get by and a tier that will keep him good for 2 or 3 years. And it all depends how much cash he gets. And we're going to be probably building a computer in the next few weeks. But we are building the computer. He's getting his hands dirty.
That's good.
He's going to learn how a computer works because he has my old iMac, which is from 2012, I believe. So it's showing its age. Sometimes it boots, sometimes it doesn't. I have Windows 10 on there for him that plays a lot of his games. I gave him a 1 terabyte external drive for his Steam library. But he could play Fallout 4 on the low settings, but there's no way it's going to play Fallout 76, and that's the game he wants it for. So we talked to everybody, and hopefully tomorrow he'll get lots of cards that are nice and thick with some cash, and go order us some parts.
Absolutely.
So
I would really love to build that machine LGR built on.
Oh yeah,
That's a perfect Windows 98 machine.
no,
Windows
that was the XP. Yeah,
XP machine. I'm sorry,
XP still holds a solid place in my heart because that was the operating system I've used the most in my life. In fact, I'm big into virtual machines. I have like 95, 3.1, 95, 98. I don't think I have a Vista anymore. I have an XP and a Windows 7 virtual machine. And still to this day, my go-to is if I want to do something old in Windows, I'll load up my Windows XP virtual machine. And
On the Mac?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you're going to have to show me how to do that.
Yeah, it's a free program from Sun. It's VirtualBox. And look online. It's very simple to set up. Or I could give you a tutorial. The hardest part to set up is actually Windows 95 is the hardest one. Because there's a whole thing with the processor that I'm not going to get into technical specs, but all you need to do is run this little program inside of Windows 95 command line, and it boots up no problem. Other than that, you'll get a boot loop.
Wow.
That
I would just go XP with it anyway.
Yeah, XP. I mean, if you ever need a copy of XP, let me know. I have an entire folder on my NAS with just old operating systems. I have an old folder of abandonware, like old Windows 3.1 programs I used to have in the day. I think it's the whole fact of getting older that I love reproducing systems I used to have. I still have some old physical hardware, but when I had kids, I had to get rid of a lot of that because when you have kids, just the amount of shit you accumulate in such a short amount of time is unfathomable.
It is.
That there was an entire closet upstairs that I had just old towers in, and I had to get rid of most of them. And my wife's like, "Do you really need these?" And I'm like, "Need?
Yeah.
No."
Needs a question.
Yeah.
For
So
another time.
I let go of a lot, but now I'm able to reproduce these systems because being a digital pack rat, I still have a lot of these original programs saved on DVD, CD, or in digital form somewhere. So
Oh man, we should have did that for the death match.
actually, I don't see a reason why you can't, because to get online access, you do bridge your adapter, your network adapter, whether it be Ethernet or Wi-Fi, because that's how you get online, do the updates. The only thing I found out is it's really not suited for 3D acceleration. I installed Quake 3 on my XP VirtualBox, and it crashed every single time. I'd get to the id logo where it does the stamp, that dun 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 dun,
Yeah.
and then it crashes.
There's
That-
a game too we haven't played in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Are you
fuck.
kidding? When LGR, when he built his XP machine, and he loaded up Unreal Tournament 2004, I'm like, oh my god, I would kill to play that. I
God.
played that for hours and
I know.
hours.
I must have played 10 bots, me versus 10 bots.
Yeah.
forever on that. God, that game's great.
And then
All right.
it wasn't until I discovered Onslaught that I realized, oh my god, this is an amazing mode.
Yeah, it is. I liked adding your own custom skins. That was my
Yes. I used to make custom skins for Quake 3. In
Yeah.
fact,
Kurgan.
I was just going to say, Armando and I spent an entire night here making a very good reproduction of the Kurgan in Quake 3.
So, all right. So what else did we cover last week in the ill-fated episode 15.1? Let's talk about the PlayStation Mini and how ridiculous and stupid it is.
Well, you and I are of two different opinions for two different reasons. But you and I have come to a consensus that it is a waste of money.
Hold on. Blatant cash grab.
Yes. No, 100% blatant cash grab. But I look at it as nostalgia. That it is an adorable little PlayStation. It comes with two controllers that are non-DualShock for $100, which is only $20 more than the SNES Classic. There's 20 games, so when you break that down, that's $5 a game.
Mm-hmm.
However, it doesn't give you what games you get on there.
Yeah.
Back to it, you don't get the DualShock controllers, you get the original controllers. And 3, and this is the biggest one, and I hate to say it, but I can emulate all those games.
You know what? But even this emulation aside, I honestly, in the third-party market, you know what I mean? In the your used market, if you want to say, which that's what it is anyway. Never mind. You could pick all those up, and probably an old PS1, probably for $60.
Actually, it depends on where you go, and I'm gonna laugh at this just because I had a ridiculous experience. I went to the flea market last weekend, and the flea market we usually go to once or twice a year. It's a huge indoor flea market. Well, my favorite game vendor was gone. So all the other game vendors, they had stupid sports games. But the only game I saw worthwhile picking up was Gran Turismo for the PS1, which is kind of the whole reason the DualShock was invented, if you look at the history of it. But it was a greatest hits version, and a guy legitimately wanted $15 for a greatest hits version of Gran Turismo. And my wife looks, she goes, "Oh my God, are you getting that?" I'm like, this is a $5 game at best. I mean, this
At
is
the best. I would have offered him $3.
Yeah, this is not a $15 game.
No.
But this is the same guy who had a booth with Xbox One. Well, no, I should. Okay. Xbox OGs at the big bricks for $50 a pop. No cables or controllers.
What the fuck?
PS1s, originals, $30. No controllers or cables. He had PS2s, Slims $30, Fats $40. Again, no cables or controllers, and GameCubes for $40, no cables or controllers.
Well, who's buying it without him testing it?
I don't know. And all he had for games there, for anything PS2 or Xbox, he didn't have anything above that, were all the crap sports titles, all your Maddens, your NCAAs, your NHLs, and he wanted $5 a pop for them.
Yeah.
And I
You know what
laughed. I literally laughed out loud. I'm like, $5, dude. The only sports game I got for the PS2 was NHL 2001 for reasons, and I paid $1.50 for it, and I felt like I got a pretty good deal. I was wanting $1 for it, but I got it for $1.50, and I wasn't going to argue over 50 cents at that point.
Yeah. You know what those games are good for? You could open up the sleeve and take out the Madden thing and throw it in the garbage and use it for a DVD that you don't have a case for.
Yes.
And then you could take the Madden game and put your drink on top of it.
Exactly. That's what they're
It's
good
a coaster. In fact, I honestly thought about that. If we needed coasters for the house, I would go to a store and buy like 6 shit games and just throw them on tables.
Well, the one store I go to, the one downtown by the square, he
Yeah.
always has boxes of sports games, and they're always labeled $2 or less. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
he just wants to get rid of them.
Well, I'll tell you, that dude, his deals are.
You got to catch them at the right time. Is
You
where you got
do.
to catch them.
You do.
So.
It's like when I started to play Gears of War.
Mhm.
Like when I bought my Xbox One, it came with Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which I thought was all the Gears of War games, but I sadly found out it was just the first one. So I was like, wow, this game is really good. So I was like, well, the second Gears of War was on the Xbox 360, and the third one, and then the fourth one is coming out soon, but whatever there. So I was like, man, I'm gonna pick up the second one. But it was only for the Xbox 360. So I went down to the guy, and he had a bin for $2. I'm like,
Exactly. Yeah.
thank you. And what was right next to it? Gears of War 3, like metal case edition for $3. I'm like, thank you, $5, and I've had 2 more games to play. Then I come to find out when I bought Gears of War, which this pissed me off later. Gears of War 4 came with all the download codes for all of them.
Oh.
So there was like, I only spent $5.
But it was,
I'm
yeah.
not gonna say $5. So, you know,
But I
they
will
gotta-
say it is nice spending that $5 to have the physical copy rather than just a digital copy.
yeah,
It saves on hard drive space. So.
it does. You know,
But I cleaned up down there the one day. He had a bunch of PS2 games that I was looking for when I was starting to rebuild my PS2 library, and I didn't pay over $5 for any of the games.
that's
So
damn.
I think I dropped like $40 there and went home with a huge stack of games, which was very, very nice. It completed most of my collection. And the nice thing too I like about him is when I bought my not my original, when I rebought a PlayStation 2, I got a Slim and Tekken Tag Tournament and another game. Tekken Tag wasn't playing right. There was no music at all. So I called him up. I said, hey, I don't know if it's the PlayStation or Tekken. He's like, bring them both down. And he tested everything and ended up being Tekken Tag. And he just goes behind the counter. Here's a brand new one. Just don't worry about it. Here's another one. We'll
yeah,
exchange
at
it, no
least he's
problem.
on it. He's an honest guy.
That most people you see like that, all sales final, no returns, no exchanges. They were more than happy. They brought out another PS2. They tested it with that. They tested my PS2 and ended up being the game. It's like shit happens sometimes that I'll always give my money to him without question because I know it's going to work.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like there's
So-
a guy over in Kingston who is sometimes overpriced, but he has a lot rarer games, and he is kind of an ass, but once you get to know him, he knows his shit. He
Yeah.
goes to all the gaming conventions. He prices them at fair prices, but he'll be the first to tell you he doesn't put anything on his shelf that he doesn't test personally.
That's good.
He guarantees 100% of his games. If there's an issue, you bring it back, and he will make good on it. And those are the guys I will always give my money to.
Mm-hmm.
He's always my Dreamcast guy because he always has some of the rarer Dreamcast titles for decent prices.
That's good. We like
So,
that. We like
yes.
rare shit.
I like rare shit. Like even when I bought the Zapper for the NES, because I have one somewhere, I can't find it. Granted, I paid an eBay price for it, but I got it that day.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't mind paying eBay price because when I went to the other guy downtown, he was only selling them in NES bundles. He wasn't selling them separately.
See, I hate that shit.
This guy was selling the Zapper separately, and it was only $15. It wasn't like he wanted $40 for a Zapper.
Yeah, you're not breaking the bank on it.
Exactly, but I got
It's
it
the
that
OG
day.
Zapper, right?
Oh yeah. Well,
Okay.
I think I've told this story before.
We
but-
did. We
yeah, they, do you want pre-89 or post-89? I'm like, pre. He goes, exactly. I don't know who wants post-89 with that orange shit.
safe.
Yeah, safe my ass. I want that shit to get me shot in the street at night.
Safe. And
Which made me realize, back in the day, I had a full size. I know you can't see it on the video because we're cropped out on PlayStation cases, but I had a full size black Uzi. No orange tip, no nothing, because back then it was the 80s. They didn't give a shit. That if I walked around with that today, I would get my ass shot instantly.
Yeah.
That all the toy guns we had back then were so realistic
I
that it's
remember
like,
me and Armando had water guns that had clips
Mhm.
that looked like Uzis.
I
You fill it
remember
up with water and you put the clip in, and then you just
I had one of the battery power ones. I went,
Yeah.
I had one of those.
Yeah.
And I remember again for Christmas, this was when Rambo came out, a big M60 set. that came with a headband and a survival knife, and all
Yeah.
of it looked legit.
It did. It did. I remember I got some M60 thing that actually was motorized and it actually had a belt that fed.
Nice.
Yeah, that thing was cool. I remember buying an extra belt. That way it would just go around and never would always look like that ammo because he always did.
And nowadays you can't have any of that shit. It's
No.
like,
They have to look like toys.
yeah.
They have to look like toys. And that's a lot. And that's probably why there's probably safety reasons.
Oh,
for
there
that.
absolutely is. Because, I mean, I don't want to say cops are stupid, but they're quick to shoot and ask questions later these days. So,
Yeah.
back in our day,
So-
you didn't have to worry about that shit.
Yeah. Well, people weren't as stupid then either.
That is true. And crime wasn't the way it is now. So,
No. So back to the back to the
the
PS
PlayStation
Yeah, we
Classic.
went the long way
Oh,
around
yeah.
here. Which could be an alternate name for this show. Off topic with Jerry and Trev. But I think the PlayStation Mini is just not worth that $100 price tag. It's not.
No,
I
it's
own
not.
Some of those games I don't even care about.
I'll be honest, and this is saying a lot. I would love to buy just the mini case itself, because I think that would make an awesome Raspberry Pi case for my Retro
Sure,
Pi.
you could find that online.
I mean, they make them, but just something that's actually authorized by Sony that has the clean-cut lines and everything else on it.
Yeah.
And that would be nice. Do I care about the controllers? No. Do we know the controller length? No. It could be a 3-foot cord like the NES Classic was. And I'm sorry, you got that coming out. There's already the Neo Geo Mini out that 3 feet penis? Yeah, okay, well, I'll go with that. God,
Trev's penis.
God, that elephant dong right there. Yeah. How's he hung?
Yeah. Anyway, that got really far away.
So, I mean, you have the Neo Geo Classic out, which is a little desktop arcade thing. You have Nintendo doing their thing, and you know they're coming out with an
I just saw
N64
a video
Classic.
for the ColecoVision Phoenix,
So,
which is their mini, essentially. HDMI out and games built in. The one girl I watch on YouTube, surprisingly, it was reviewing it, or talking about it at least. So I just took a quick look at it.
but we were coming out for the last 2 years, one a year. Now everybody's jumping in. Apparently, Sega is coming out with an official version, not the versions you see in the dollar store that you can get right now for $5.
Family Dollar, they had a portable one for $10. I was like,
That I think it's just a matter of time before people are just going to be nostalgia out of all these classic systems.
you know what Sony should do? They should be the first one to pioneer this insanity. Instead of selling the Mini, why don't they just put an app on the PS4 that's the PlayStation Mini? Sell it for $30. All those games built in for $30.
Because that won't make them...
Then they won't make the same amount of money.
Exactly. They won't make the same amount of money. Plus, I mean, let's be honest. This is for people that aren't us. This isn't for people who want to collect the physical media. This isn't for people who want to emulate the media. This is for someone who's maybe in their 30s, that the PlayStation was their first console. They got the warm and fuzzies, and we don't even know all 20 games yet.
Yeah, I know.
And
you know, they hit a couple major ones like Final Fantasy
Yeah.
VII and Ridge Racer, which legitimately Ridge Racer was a big deal for them.
But this is for the people that don't have their system anymore. They don't know or don't feel like finding out how you can buy a used system with used games, or don't have the time. That for them, laying down, a Benjamin to bring this home with 20 games that they probably own 5 of would be worth it to them.
I'm telling you, you get a better deal buying an old PS2.
Oh, and you and I know that.
Yeah. Buy an old PS2 and pick up the games a la carte as you go through life.
And then you got a system that can play 2 different generations.
Yeah.
So,
Because I'm telling you now, if I wanted to pick up, I'm not going to say Symphony of the Night because I bring that up all the time, but I own it twice. But, any of those
soon
old
to be
PS...
3 times.
Yeah, no, it is 3. I've already paid for it.
Oh, you already pre-ordered it?
I already pre-ordered it. I just wanted when it hey, it was $4 off.
Can't beat
through.
that.
So, But whatever the game is, you want to. Okay.
No,
Anyway,
no, keep going. Ignore me on the video.
it's hard to when it's all I see.
I know. And you're gonna see me disappear on the video because I am eaten alive with mosquitoes from the kids at the bus stop. So I'm like itching nonstop.
Yeah, that's okay. But to own those, I forgot where I was going. Fuck.
To own all those games, you were talking about Symphony of the Night. And...
Yeah, buying those games over and over. I'll keep doing it. I don't care.
You and I will keep doing it. I mean,
because we're idiots, by the way. But
we're idiots, and we're.
I could easily emulate any game I've played in the last 30 years.
Yes, but we're also on that verge of collecting. I mean, you and I had this back and forth argument for years, where when I started emulating, you were the guy, original game, original hardware.
Purist. I was the purist.
You were the purist, and then. Once you started seeing a lot of the emulation and you started emulating and being less of a purist, and that's when I started going back to being a purist and I started recollecting for the Dreamcast, rebuilding my PS2 library physically, that we've gone back and forth. And that's not what these classic systems are made for. They're not made for us. They're made for the people who could care less or don't want to learn about how to rebuy their collections or to emulate anything. They want a little box to plug into an HDMI port, push a power button, go through a menu, and play that game. That's what these are for.
I can't believe I have a segue, but speaking of power buttons.
Yes.
Did you watch Mike Matei's video? He put this video out the other day, and I love anybody who's on Cinemassacre complaining about something I usually enjoy. He's complaining about how you have to hold the button down.
I did.
To turn on the switch.
I didn't see that one. Video. I saw the video of which game hurts your hand the most. Yeah. I watched that one, which I thought was just absolutely ridiculous. But
he went on. He literally pulled out the NES and he goes, "Look at this. When I push the button on this, it turns off. Turns on. Yeah. Turns off." And he went through like 5 systems. He goes, "Why do I have to hold down the button?" And I'm like, I actually commented in the video and I said, "I think you're stretching here, Mike.
What?
If you're just looking to fill up content, you're stretching far here, buddy."
What system was he talking about that he had to hold the button?
Switch.
Oh, the Switch.
I said, "What?"
I don't mean to keep hitting my head against the mic, but I'm like, oh my God.
I can't believe that video. And you know what? I really respect that channel. I like it. Some of his plays suck, but
some of his playthroughs they need to break up into two or three parts. Yes, I want to see him play this game, but I don't have 2.5 hours to sit there and watch.
So, about to be clever segued again. Because I'm watching a Let's Play of Mega Man 11.
Yes.
Which was recently released for all the majors. And
yes.
First off, fuck that game, okay? That game's hard.
Let's say fuck that game from the bottom of our loving hearts, because it is truly a Mega Man game.
It is. It really is,
No, it lives up to its name.
I'm not complaining about challenge or anything like that. It truly is a good Mega Man boning, because it really is.
I'm sorry. I want a screen capture. I want to GIF that. Just that.
It really is. Mega Man, I have never avoided a Mega Man game I played. This will be the 11th one I will give it a shot at. I'm going to buy it like an idiot just so I can make sure that my heart's going to work for an accomplished another year. But just playing the demo put my fucking blood pressure up.
Yeah, I have. Well, there's two schools of thought here. The school of thought I went into with the demo was, okay, I've beaten Mega Man 2. Because to me, Mega Man 2 will always be the definitive Mega Man. That is...
I'll let you run with that.
Okay. I mean, I've played the other Mega Man. I've gotten pretty far in Mega Man 3. I never got into the Mega Man X games, I'll be honest. But in the beginning, what is it? You have 4 different levels. You have beginner, casual, normal, and I think hardcore.
Yeah.
I played normal. And I got my ass handed to me. But I refused to go down to the casual or beginner. But I got to be honest, I was playing it in handheld mode. So, because my kids were watching TV, so I just went into the bedroom, laid across the bed, playing that. And I had to stop myself a few times from snapping that switch in half.
Yeah.
Because there is a point where this huge fucking pillar comes down and it's auto scrolls, and if you don't move fast enough it kills you instantly.
Yes.
But the jumping is on the jumping and movement is very tight, but at the same time it doesn't react as quickly as you think it might.
Yeah.
So when you jump, you have to hold that button in just a little bit longer to get a higher jump, to blast the block, to go through the next part. And I've yet to get past that part. And I was just like, fuck this game. And I had to remember, don't snap the $300 system in half.
Yes. Please don't. Every time I see casual or easy in a game, I think back to Zombieland and Tallahassee going, I sense you're a little bit of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, every time I say, because I never play a game on normal. I mean, on easy. I can't. I owe myself to
and see, I'm of the opposite thinking. If it's a series I'm really, really, really into, I will play it on normal. Yeah. But if it's just a casual game I pick up that I want to enjoy the storyline for, I'll play it on easy. Because I don't want the challenge, I want the storyline. Once I'm done with it, then I'll go back and play it on normal, which I've done many times on many games. Mm-hmm. But Mega Man, to me, I'm like, no. I've been playing Mega Man since the 80s. I gotta be normal. And
you're not really like a gamer worth the salt until you've defeated the first Mega Man. You have to sit down and do that. It sucks. Yes. It's punishing yourself.
And you find out that the original NES controllers are almost indestructible because you will throw it many times. Do you remember how many times have we taken an NES controller and you just creak it back and forth, and that fucker won't give, and you thank for it not to give later on because you don't want to snap it in half. But it's just it's
like it fills my rage meter thinking about it. It's like,
it was like when the Mega Man 10 demo came out, and I played that on the PS3. And again, I, for the first time in a long, long time, chucked a controller across the room. And that's when I knew, just walk away. And then when you told me you actually beat that one, I'm like, buddy, you're a better man than I.
Yeah, I'm up. The only Mega Man I haven't defeated is now 11.
Yeah.
Of the original classic series.
Yes, not the X's.
I played Mega Man
X2s.
X1, 2, and I think I played 3, but I don't ever think I got to 3. But I have all 10 under my belt, and now I'm eventually going to walk into 11. I'm going to be cheap and wait for it to go on sale someday.
I mean, well, if you think about it, $30 isn't bad.
No.
It's better than 60.
You know that there's a defeated in under an hour trophy in that game?
Well, I told you, well, we're rehashing this from the last podcast. But it was 2 days after.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was 2 days after it was released. I was laying in bed one night, and my normal thing at bedtime is I'll lay in bed, I'll open my phone, I'll play some solitaire. Well, of course, I beat the first game first deal. I was bored after that, so I went on Twitch. And there was a guy, the second day it was released, doing a speed run, and he beat it under 49 minutes. God. And I watched most of that speed run. I watched about a half hour of that speed run. And I got to be honest. Now, I have an anxiety disorder, and I was having almost a panic attack watching him play.
I know.
Let alone me trying to play. And it was at that point I realized I'll never, ever beat this. I can't see myself physically beating this. I don't have the patience. I don't think I have those reflexes anymore that I was like, you know what, I'm saving $30 because I was planning on buying it. And I'll watch it on Twitch, and that's exactly what I'll do. And I'll live vicariously through these people who are eventually going to beat it in 45 minutes or 40 minutes. I mean, I'll watch that rather than pay $30 to play it for 20 minutes and then never touch it again.
Yeah, exactly. Mega Man it gets your blood going. And it is the true definition of NES difficulty.
It is. It really is. Yes.
You know, if you're not good if your reflexes aren't good, don't bother. Don't sign up for this.
Mega Man.
Abandon all hope, ye who enter here.
Mega Man. I don't want to say it's a genre itself, but it's a class of game in and of itself.
It is.
If they ask you, well, how hard is a game, and you go, it's Mega Man hard, people go, oh shit.
Yeah.
I mean, back up, you know.
Watching a video like Mega Man is blue because NES did blue good. That's the only reason he's blue.
It did blue good.
Blue was the largest palette in the color palette that the NES could handle. Blue had the most shades, if you want to say it that way.
Okay.
That's why Mega Man is blue. That's the only reason he's blue. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
On a side note, at the cemetery I take care of, in the one section in the first row, there's a big-ass 5-foot monument, and the last name on it is Rockman. And when I go by, I just giggle. I'm like, oh, that's where all the dead ones go.
Yeah. Yep.
Which, if you don't know the original name for Mega Man in Japan is Rockman, then you're obviously under 20 years old.
Yeah. She's too young for you, bro.
Yes. I love that one. If you show her a PS1...
There's a lot of music references in the Mega Man.
Well, when you said she's too young for you, that used to be a meme. It was a PlayStation 1 memory card, and it's like, if she doesn't know what this is, she's too young for you.
Yes, exactly. It's true, too.
Yeah.
It's sadly true. So, let's see. So, I think I'm out of segues. I segued into two, like, really good concepts there. And
you did segue to two really good concepts. I'll segue into a third concept for you.
Go.
Another class of game that we've talked about, and you touched on it, is the Castlevania genre, which they call the Metroidvania, which is basically the 2D side-scrolling platforming shoot 'em up, basically.
Action adventure.
Which, again, I don't have a PS4. I can't justify the cost. That's why I have a Switch. It's more kid-friendly, more casual gaming. You being the hardcore, balls-to-the-walls Castlevania player, I know you were excited when they announced Castlevania Requiem.
Oh, I am. I am. I've never owned a copy of Rondo of Blood because it's
impossible.
It's fiscally
irresponsible.
Yes, that's probably the best word for it. It came out on the Wii. Actually, if you go back that far, we go back that far. Some people who read this might listen to this might not, but it was actually released on the Wii. It was one of those games that was 600 Wii points, space bucks.
I like that space bucks. That brings back memories.
It does. That's why I said it. 600 space bucks. It was one of those games that was a little bit more because it was a Japanese game. It was an exclusive game. And the Wii was great. The Wii had a great virtual console.
It did. And that's the one thing that I'm really hoping they will eventually recreate on the Switch, because they did. Because right now, what the hell do they call it on the Switch? Their store. I think it's just the e-store. Because everything is lumped into it. There's no WiiWare or anything. A lot of it is shit right now.
It is.
So
it is. The only thing I like on the Switch store, and not that I'll get too far away from this, but is they have a lot of the original Versus arcade games, and the Versus is the hardware that Nintendo, the VS hardware,
and
it's VS actually.
Yeah, and if you're a Neo Geo fan, they do have a lot of Neo Geo games. But I'm
like Metal Slug.
Yes, but I'll be honest. I have to step away for 2 minutes, so you can go on about Rondo of Blood and Symphony of the Night. So you're the expert.
I wish I was. So I never owned a copy of Rondo of Blood in my life. It's just fiscally inhibitive to own it, but I wanted to play it, and I've tried to emulate it over the years, and I've tried to secure copies, and I've done everything I can to play it, but it's just it's out of my reach. So I finally got it to emulate it about a year ago, right after I got the Mac, come to think of it. Well, maybe more than a year, whatever. And it's a truly difficult game. It's very Castlevania 3-ish difficult. It's got a lot more to it. Richter's a lot more nimble and can do a lot more cool shit. But it's one of those games that I've defeated it in the Dracula X moniker, which was, the Super Nintendo version. I'm not Dracula X, by the way.
Okay, thank you.
So, I've played Rondo of Blood as it was Dracula X, but I've never really played it as Rondo of Blood, obviously for a lot of reasons. And
the only way I played it is emulating it from the original import Saturn.
Well, no, that was the PC Engine.
PC Engine, yeah.
So I played it like that, but the game's hard. It's hard.
It
It
is.
really is. It's hard. You have to have it's Mega Man hard. Let's just go back to that previous.
And let's preface this that it's hard in that good way again. It's hard like Mega Man good that you feel rewarded when you finally get somewhere or beat the level.
You beat a level. What's great about that game is it has a save feature. So it has a real good save feature. Every time you defeat a level, it saves.
Not this password bullshit.
Yeah. Oh no, not. See, I like passwords today though because I just take a picture with my phone and then I just come back to whatever I want.
Back in the NES days when Castlevania 3 came out, and it was a 3x3 grid password. I can't tell you how many notepads I had with written down all of the different passwords.
I'd be like heart, holy water, cross,
whip.
This. Yeah.
But
whip,
then you had to
whip.
write down which one was which because you didn't want to go back to a previous password. So you kind of had to like date them and timestamp them too.
See, that's like like I was playing. I've said this before. I was playing Castlevania 4 quite a few times and over the years, and excuse me, and every time I get farther in the game, I just take a picture of the password and I shut it off, and I feel better about me. But
back then we didn't have that. It would have been a Polaroid, which would have been annoying. And yes, I know what you're texting me, and yes, I know.
Okay, all right.
Okay. My
right,
wife
so-
is watching TV, so you're going to be hearing dramatic music.
Okay, no, it's fine. I just didn't know if you realized it was that loud.
Yes, no.
So, and then, of course, Rhino of Blood leads right into Symphony of the Night with a little bit of time gap in there. And Symphony of the Night, probably one of the best top 10 games of all time.
Best Castlevania game ever.
Castlevania game ever.
And ironically,
It's personally it's the top 3 favorite game for me ever.
I would say that, and it says something when there's been. I don't know the exact number. I'll go on the safe side and say 6 Castlevanias after that, and Symphony of the Night was the last true 2D side-scrolling Castlevania, and it was the best. The 3D ones after that hold no water to it, even though the graphics were superior. The stories, I will say, maybe were superior when you get into the PS3 versions. But what was that? Dawn
of Sorrow.
Dawn of Sorrow. I mean, no
PS3 versions.
PS3. It was
Lords of Shadow.
Lords of Shadow. That and because the second one. I mean, the storylines were great, but it just wasn't as good as Symphony of the Night in terms of overall game.
I think the one thing I like about Lords of Shadow was it had a really great narrative and a great story. Like, it really did have a deep story, and it's probably because it was like the first one that had like a higher production quality. And a really high production quality.
And for me, it was awesome and disappointing because when you first play the game, the opening narration is done by Patrick Stewart, which, being a huge Star Trek fan, was just like awesome. And then the worst part was yeah. And the worst part was after playing it for about a half hour, I couldn't go any further because I'm colorblind. And some of the levels, they all look the same to me. I can't differentiate where to go and what to see.
Oh yeah, you'd get lost in it.
And I couldn't play anymore because I was literally running in circles that I knew there was someplace I had to go, but I could not see where to go. Everything looked orange or everything looked red, and it was just it was disappointing to me because I really wanted to finish that game.
So Symphony of the Night, the only downfall of this collection is, and I said this on 15.1, is that the original voice cast of Symphony of the Night isn't used here.
Yeah.
It's the updated version that was put on the Dracula X Chronicles, I think. That's really sad because that voice acting is so shitty it's good, man.
Exactly.
It is.
Oh.
What is a man? We need that on the soundboard. Which we kind of forgot about again. I can't believe we got this
I
far
actually
into
keep
it.
turning the iPad on, and it's just it's yeah.
I don't know if we're not using it because there's less of us. It's just me and you, and
I
we're
think
the whole
so.
show. Yeah.
Because
So-
we're going back and forth. When it used to be Growing Up Geek and there'd be 5 of us, we'd have a lot
and
of downtime that I could just, I could screw with people. when they say something stupid, but when it's just you and I keep the conversation going. So
Yeah, that's how it should be. Sometimes those 5-man shows were fun though, or 5-person shows. 'Cause we had ladies
yes,
on it.
we did have ladies on. Yes,
Yeah, it was enjoyable too.
it was. But
So it comes out on the 16th, Castlevania Requiem. I'm super excited. I'm actually thinking about calling off work.
you may not want to say that in case any of your coworkers listen to this.
Nobody knows this exists. Who watches this?
Ouch.
Real, okay? You have to actually beg for like, subscribe at the end of this show every week. And
Hey.
that's not far from actual YouTube.
We got our first sponsor this week.
Say again.
We got our first sponsor for this week.
Go ahead.
It's my wife. She's paying us $5 to stop making this every 2 weeks.
Now that is funny. That deserves a. No, that's enough of that because I think I ran that joke out. But yeah, I'm excited for that. I really am. And you know what? I'm actually going to play it in order. That's my plan. I'm gonna get through Rondo of Blood. Then I'm going to start Symphony of the Night. Even though I want to know what this trophy set's going to be because they have said on their trailers that they say that's trophy support, which I can't believe we still have to say that.
I've never been a big fan of trophies. I'll be honest with you.
I'm not a fan of them. I don't care if you have 50 platinums. I have like 1,000 bronze trophies on my PS4 account, my PlayStation account, or whatever. I don't care. Me and my brother have both at 2 platinum trophies. We refuse to get another one because that means the other guy's got to get another one, and that's a fucking job in itself. Even though I sort of did 2 easy games to get it.
But to me, you're doing that. That's nothing more than just waving your cock in your friend's face. Because to
one
me,
friend has like 55 trophies. I don't know how. I don't have time for that in my life.
well, I think if it's the mutual friend we're talking about, he has no life.
Well, he might.
He lives
Sort
at
of.
home still.
Oh no, it's a different friend.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about that friend that has so many platinum trophies that he keeps posting about. That's just
No, not him. So yeah, I want to see what the trophies are because in the trailer it actually says the trophies will be hard. Some trophies will be difficult to get.
Now, I know I asked you this last week and I don't remember, so you have to apologize. In Symphony of the Night, are they still doing the 200% completion?
Oh, I'm sure they'll want that for
Okay.
the good ending. But I'm actually gonna look up Symphony.
Which, for those of you who don't know, the original Symphony of the Night, if you beat it the correct way and you reach the end and you beat Richter, right? It wasn't Dracula, it was Richter. At the end.
Richter was the technical
First one, yes.
Yeah.
The castle flipped 180 degrees, and then you had to go back through it and beat Dracula at the end. So there actually were 2 endings, kind of, because it really wasn't an ending with Richter. It just flipped the castle. But you reached 100%, and then you had to reach 200%, which the only way I've ever seen anybody reach 200% was with the EGM guide to it, because you had to do some ridiculous shit to get to 200% even.
Well, there were it was tough, and there's the infamous part in a lot of not speedrunners, but Let's Players that are going for the 200%. There's infamous parts in it where you're in the inverted castle, and it's the part where you had to go through water, which because science. Anyway, upside down water.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
And
there.
in Castlevania, water instantly kills you.
Well,
which, again,
until you get the snorkel, essentially is what the item is. It really is. It says holy symbol, but it's a snorkel. I'm looking up the trophies for this. Some of them are pretty simple. Okay. No, that's for the Xbox 360 version when that came out a few years ago. But there's like one place you have to touch the perfect pixel to get the block to fill in, and it's hard to do. In fact, a lot of people say you have to turn into the wolf to do it. Now, I remember it took me like 1,000,000 hours to get to 200% back in the day. I don't even try for that anymore. I just try to get through it, and I'm good.
I'd have to look at my original PS1 memory card, but I think 198 was the closest I ever got.
Yeah, I think I've only gotten the max. I may not have ever got. I think I have got it once, come to think of it. But
It's just ridiculous of the
Yeah.
shit you have to do to be.
it is. It is.
But
But it's an enjoyable ridiculous.
yes.
But speaking of Castlevania,
Okay, I was going to say the same thing, but go ahead.
no, did you beat Portrait of Ruin yet?
That's a big fuck you.
Okay, all right, go ahead. You were going to say.
What game I have been enjoying is the spiritual successor to Castlevania on the Switch.
Oh, Bloodstained?
Bloodstained. I have not beat it yet because I'm not in a rush to do that. So every week or two, I'll pick it up, go through a level or two, and I just enjoy it. There's no marathon because if you don't know Bloodstained, it's, this is the funny part. It was a Kickstarter and they got funded. And part of the Kickstarter was if they got funded by a certain time, they were going to put out an 8-bit precursor to the actual game Bloodstained, which is going to be kind of like Mega Man 11 looks. It's going to be slightly cell shaded, modern looking.
2.5D.
Yeah, that kind of look. This is 8-bit classic Castlevania wannabe. And it is fantastic, and it is like the hottest game to get once it hit the e-store. Like everybody wanted it. It was only $15. I bought it instantly. And I do want to beat it before the actual game comes out, the Bloodstained, because that looks good too. But it is a true spiritual successor to Castlevania. So if you don't have a way to play any of these original Castlevania games, buy that and you'll get a good Castlevania experience.
You know, I'm really always surprised, and I'll go back to Bloodstained in a sec, but I'm always very surprised that there's not like a Castlevania collection. Like the 8-bits, or even from Castlevania 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3, then Super Castlevania.
And that Bloodlines for the Genesis. I'd pay $20 for that.
Absolutely.
I'd be happy to shell out $20 for that.
Absolutely.
And I don't want anything updated. I don't want fucking new graphics. I would take some better music or the choice of it. I could do that if you had an option for it. Because after playing like the Japanese versions of those games, when you hear the music in the different ways,
the music is amazing.
It is a lot better.
Versions,
the NES didn't have great sound technology.
No.
But I would definitely pay $20 for that. But man, God, that series is just so great.
Yeah, if I could go on to the Switch, and even I'd say $10, Castlevania 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
I would buy that right now in a heartbeat.
Nintendo, put it on the virtual console thing, please.
Yes.
You know,
because
I could easily emulate these games, and I have.
And we own the physical copies, which we do. But the Switch is such a great portable system that you could just pick it up anywhere.
I would play Castlevania 3 on the shitter.
Absolutely. It's a great shitter game.
Well, anyways, back to Bloodstained for a minute. Bloodstained Curse of the Moon is great. It has very Castlevania 3 feel. Switching between characters, ramped up difficulty.
The one thing I do like, which doesn't happen in Castlevania 3, is if your main character dies that you're using, or you're running low on health, you could switch between two other characters.
Okay.
What?
No, I'm sorry. I got a text from...
Oh, okay. Because if I remember on Castlevania 3, you could only do 2 characters at a time. You couldn't do 3.
Yeah, you could do Trevor and your other character.
Your other character. Where this, you have 3 the entire time.
You want to know, though, something that I didn't find out till way later in that game?
What?
Now, I'm at the last run up the castle. I'm on the last level.
We're talking about Bloodstained, right?
Yeah, talking about Bloodstained.
Yes.
Do you know that if you get one of those characters, one of those souls, or whatever they are, you know if you kill them, you'll get their abilities?
No, I did not.
You know when you walk up to them and you make the decision to take them or not?
Yeah.
You walk over and just hack away at them and kill them, you'll gain their ability instead. It increases your character's mobility.
I did not know that.
You'll get other weapons and you'll get other abilities. I didn't know that either, and I have to say that a YouTube channel called Some Call Me Johnny actually pointed that out. You could do that. You could not.
I will
take
not
them
burst into song. I'm sorry.
All right. Anyway, who's Johnny?
He said and smiled in that special way. Sorry.
Weird Al's voice is so much better. But yeah, you can do that. You could not take them with you, and just take the one character and walk through the game. You can take them with you, obviously, which is probably the safest bet.
That is the safest bet because you have basically 3 life bars then.
Yeah. But I think if you kill them, your life bar increases. Don't quote me on that though. But you'll take and if you kill them, you'll take one of their abilities with you. So you can have like a double jump or increased mobility or whatever it is. I don't think you're going to turn into a bat like the fake Alucard in it is, but.
Well, no, there is a bat in there.
So.
I will say one thing. In total transparency, I did play it on normal for the longest time, and after I got my ass handed to me 3 times, I just screwed it and went on casual. So
Yeah.
now I kind of have unlimited lives.
Like I said, I got to where I'm at on normal.
Yeah.
And the part I'm stuck on that I'm doing what I did with Mega Man in this game a little bit is when I get too pissed off at it, I just stop playing. I walk away.
You have to. You
calm
have
down and you come back to it when you're ready. But there's a part where, and everybody who's played Castlevania at least 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even Bloodlines, because I've played that, but I just don't remember a lot about it, is the hopping guys.
what the hell were they called?
They're called Fleamen in some other game.
Yeah, I think, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, they're called Fleamen. But there's a part in there where they're not Fleamen, they're frogs that bounce all over, and they're dropped in by birds, which, why not just rip it straight off from them? And the screen is filled with them. And it's consistently. And it's not like the NES days where only so many sprites can be on screen.
Oh, no, you can put as many as you want.
Yeah, we're in modern technology.
Yeah.
It'll go until it bogs the system down.
Although I will say that is a good thing, because back in the NES days, if they put too many sprites on the screen, the sprites were there, but they would turn invisible. So you get killed by nothing. Yeah, I got killed by what? But it just couldn't render it at that time, so.
The NES ran at 60 frames per second.
That's amazing.
It is amazing. Think about that.
That is absolutely amazing.
It is. The NES ran at 60 frames per second.
I don't think this podcast is running at 60 frames per second on YouTube.
It doesn't even have 60 viewers to watch it.
You're not wrong.
So, no, I'm not wrong. So, sponsor us.
So, obviously you haven't beaten it. I haven't beaten it yet. But is this
I haven't killed myself to do it, though, either. So.
Yeah, that's the same thing. I'm playing casually.
You know what I did beat, though? Portrait of Ruin.
Wow.
All right, we're done anyway. So
you know what? No. Screw you. I am going to charge up my DS this weekend. And I am going to probably not beat it, but I'm going to try again.
All right. That's good news. Yeah, you got to get into that shit, man. That's enough. I got nothing left to burn you on in life except for anyway.
You got a lot to burn me on. Come on.
Yeah, you're right. You have more hair than I do.
That is true.
I have less gray than you do.
That is 100% true. So, well, I just gave myself a haircut the other day, and whenever because I do it over the tub, so everything just collects. And every time I see all that hair at the bottom of the tub, I go, my bald friends would call this a hate crime. I mean,
we all know who you're talking about.
Well, there's a couple actually. So,
I need Ron Popeil spray on hair.
In fact, if she doesn't mind me telling this story, my wife, who's sitting in the next room, she showed me a guy on Facebook the other day that she had a huge crush on in high school, and he's bald now, like kind of, he's got just the sides left, and she's like, I had the biggest crush in him, and my God, look at him, he's bald. Thank God I didn't end up with him. And I'm like, and that makes me feel better because I got gray hair, but I don't care about the gray hair. My wife likes the gray hair. It doesn't bother me, but apparently she would never be with a bald guy, so I never have to worry about her leaving me for a bald guy. So, so Jerry, your luck is sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. She's part of the bro code, buddy.
Yes,
she's part of my bro code.
But until we got onto this, my question to you was, after playing Bloodstained, do you feel confident enough in what they've done with the 8-bit version to get the actual real game they kickstarted?
Yes.
I know there's no release.
They did.
Sorry.
There's no release date, and for how much money people have donated to this thing, we should have a release date.
They said 2019 is what they're giving, but
that's fucking bullshit.
That's 52 weeks.
The Avengers are coming out in 2019 too, but we don't know when.
Don't get me started on that shit. When people were crying over Chris Evans's tweet, that was probably the last time he's playing Captain America, I'm like, I felt like William Shatner. It's just a TV show, except it's just a movie. It's just a character.
Play the fail sound.
I mean, those of you who read the comics, and I'm not a huge Marvel comic reader, Steve Rogers wasn't the only Captain America.
Yes.
There could be other people.
The Punisher was him for a while.
Peter Parker was not the only Spider-Man. I mean, there have been very few characters who have. Bruce Wayne was not always Batman. I mean, there are very few characters, with the exception of Superman and Wolverine, are the only two that are coming to mind that have been the same person throughout their entire run. And it's just move on, okay?
Get over it, people.
Get over it. I mean, we all know Chris Evans was at the end of his contract. Robert Downey Jr. is at the end of his contract. Now, Robert Downey Jr. is now Tony Stark. He is synonymous with Tony Stark. He
Yes.
is Tony Stark. I mean, I can't imagine.
He judges Tony Stark look-alike contest.
Yes. But again, Tony Stark wasn't the only Iron Man.
Yes, he was. Actually, Iron Man's a woman now.
So, I mean, these people who get so hung up on this, it's just stop. If you knew the comics, you'd know other people played these characters that they're not, I shouldn't even say characters. They played this part because Captain America isn't a person. It's an idea is
Yeah.
what it is. And
Did you see that they? We'll touch on Marvel for a little bit. That they're going to go forward with a Black Widow film.
I did see that Scarlett Johansson's getting $15 million for a
That's
Black
okay.
Widow. And I'm okay with that.
I'm okay.
I
think it should be. We should make this an over 40 event.
yes. And it's
I don't know how we're going to lose the wives, but man, we'll figure that
well,
out.
the funny thing was when they were talking about that we need a Black Widow movie, and Jennifer Lawrence made Red Sparrow, which if you ever see that movie, you're going to spend 2 hours watching it, and at the end you're going to go, what the fuck did I just watch for 2 hours?
You mean like Napoleon Dynamite?
I love Napoleon Dynamite.
Movie's fucking terrible.
Oh, dude. Did you see they're coming locally? They're going to do a Q&A afterwards. It's Uncle Rico, Napoleon, and Pedro. They're all going to do a Q&A at the Kirby afterwards.
Oh, no thanks, because I made it 23 minutes into that movie and I turned it off.
I couldn't make it through the first time. If you watch it the second, it's kind of like The Big Lebowski. You don't understand it and you hate it the first time until you watch it the second time and you start appreciating it for what it is, not what it's supposed to be, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, I think you're stretching here.
Yeah,
but,
I might be stretching it. But anyway, back to the Red Sparrow. That they said, too bad they made Red Sparrow. That's basically the Black Widow movie. Which, when you watch it, Jennifer Lawrence has a very graphic nude scene in it. So when they announced the Black Widow movie, I'm like, I doubt we're getting that, but, it would be nice to see Scarlett Johansson
I
naked.
think what we should do is create a meme of that graphic nude scene, and underneath it says, "Your move, Black Widow."
Yeah.
And that's perfect.
Yeah.
I might do that later.
But again, Marvel owned by Disney, which Disney
Yeah,
is
it's never gonna happen.
Disney is going to own everything by 2020. Let's just be honest here that they would never allow a graphic
Big
nude
Daddy
scene.
Walt owns it all.
Yeah.
So
Everyone's in the house of the mouse.
yes, that's right. You're my bitch. That's what he should say. Pretty much. Mickey Mouse, you're my bitch.
You're not wrong.
I'm not.
Oh.
Unbelievable. So what do we got left? Are we out of things?
Oh, we're never out of things. We're just, do we want to keep going? Is the question. We can make these 4-hour podcasts, and the two people that actually listen may not like the 4-hour podcast. That's why we're at an hour 23. We usually hit an hour 30, so let's just say we got 7 minutes to fill.
Well, the one thing I want to bring up, we'll go back to Mega Man 11 for a second, is that the
Yes.
speed run, not the speed run, but the playthrough I'm watching is
Yes.
nice 13-minute chunks.
Oh.
That's a watch. That's
Okay.
a sit down and watch it with dinner.
You gotta,
or-
text me that. Actually,
Oh,
I got a Mega Man story that I told last week that no one saw. So it's a YouTube game. Well, I shouldn't say he's a YouTube gamer. He doesn't do many stream videos, but his name is the Immortal John Hancock.
This is the 5th episode in a row you've said his name.
No. Fourth, because last week's didn't get posted.
Fine. 15-1.
Anyway, he's around our age. He's in his 40s. And he actually did a live stream on YouTube. This would be 2 weeks ago now because we fucked up last week's episode. That he played Mega Man 11 for the first time on stream. He did a 1-hour YouTube stream. And this guy, he's a school teacher, very wholesome, never curses. And I swear to God, he was about to break this controller in half because he was just very frustrated. He played 3 different boards and failed to get to the end guy of each board. And he was even like, damn, this is hard. But every time he died, and this guy, I mean, he's a bigger guy, but he's always smiling. He's always happy. And just to see him go, was just like, okay, I'm understanding the difficulty of it now. You know,
my favorite thing about people snapping out in the last couple of years of gaming are the people who are trying to play Cuphead.
Oh my
Those
God.
people.
Yes.
And you know what? Take it from a guy who actually made it all the way through Cuphead's campaign. It is that frustrating. I had my brother here after I got it. It was around Christmas. It was Christmas last year, and because I remember I bought it with a gift card that I got for Christmas. But long story short, and I was like on the 5th boss, maybe the 6th boss, and I must have tried for an hour. And finally, I picked up the controller and I put it down and I said, "Take it away from me, or I'm going to destroy it." But that one guy, you sent me a video of the guy. We were talking about Cuphead at the time, and the guy's like, he's almost at the end of the perfect run because there's a thing in there not to get hit. There's a trophy in that game not to get hit. And
I can't imagine that.
I couldn't imagine that because I'm telling you now, I couldn't get it without the 2 things to give me more health. And it's actually easier with 2 players, if that makes any sense, because that's not usually the case. But you literally see this guy who's all calm and collected. He's right near the end of the game about to like no hit it, and he goes, "You gotta be kidding me!" And he throws the controller on camera and it bounces off the wall. You can hear it hit shit. God, it's so good. But that game is getting a DLC, I think, anyway. But
I've actually only played it once or twice. My son bought it.
you only hate yourself.
Well, yeah, I played through the tutorial, to which he was laughing at me because I was having a hard time with the tutorial. It's like, "Dad, you just got to do this." I'm like, "Well, you've been playing this for a month. I haven't." And I played through the first board. I didn't beat it, but I think he got through the 3rd level, I think. And which, for that, he was 7 at the time. That was damn good for a 7-year-old.
Yeah, that was truly one of the more that was Mega Man hard.
Yes, that was Mega. I remember that's one of the few times I actually watched a lot of the Mike Matei Let's Plays, and seeing his frustration was just that in itself was rewarding because you truly appreciated how hard it was. And to bookend off of that, when I felt bad about not beating the Mega Man 11 demo, and I saw Mike Matei's video for the Mega Man 11 demo, and the first video was an hour and a half, I didn't feel so bad for not beating it in the first 2 sittings. I'm like, okay, I don't feel bad.
It's so good. It's so true. Fuck that game.
Yeah.
I can't. You know what? It's something. It's like a lot of gaming. As I've gotten older now, I have to work towards it to do it. Like when I played. I'm trying to think. When I played like Mega Man 9 and 10, I bought Mega Man 9. It was probably on sale because I'm a cheap fuck, and I remember I played I beat a boss or 2, and I walk away. And once I get to a point where it's frustrating me, I walk away for a while. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm going to give it another shot. And usually having that clear conscience or whatever it is, it helps.
You got to walk away. But we're the type of gamers that we get that demo, and we're just like, fuck this game. And then we just go, here, take my money. Give me the full version. I can do better with the full version. I swear to God, I'll do better. And
I know with the full version, you could buy energy tanks. So that may be why I paid $30 for it. So
have you bought it?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I told myself I would wait because it's coming near Christmas, and I'm in the after October 1st lockout for buying anything. Except I got away with Symphony of the Night because I pre-ordered it before October. So I did good there.
I'll give you the Chuck Norris.
Yeah. Actually, I have the Doc Brown where he goes.
I love the Chuck Norris one that I always send to you with the from Dodgeball.
I have to start sending you the Doc Brown one because I really love that one. And
I can honestly say Mega Man 11 is a game I will probably, even if it goes on sale for $1.99, will not buy because I know for a fact I will never complete it just because
Um,
I'm already on anxiety and high blood pressure meds. I don't need to stroke out over a $30 game.
no, and that's where you take the walk away. Just take
Yeah.
it, stop it. Don't smash your $40 controller, $30 fucking whatever you use.
$300 system switch. So.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. I just sent you the Doc Brown one because
Okay.
that's why I've learned to do shit when I think about it, or I'll never do it. So there's that.
And there's that. And I
So
think that's
look,
about it.
As I'm looking at it, please make sure you visit the website for our thing, 40somethingpodcast.com.
Yes.
If you want to live in the 90s when GeoCities was the thing,
We got a 90s website for you.
we're fine. We got you covered. Also, if you'd like to buy an HP Jornada, what is that? I have no idea what that is.
Okay.
It was only $5.49.
Do you know I actually, when we were at the flea market, I actually had my wife looking at keyboards. It is my goal, and this is going to sound horrible, but I want a vintage 1995 Packard Bell.
Like the system or keyboard?
The system. I figured I could do it piecemeal. So I was looking at the keyboards and then the system, but I would love a vintage Packard Bell with, and you know exactly what I'm talking about, that gray trim that went along the front that was ribbed, and then the monitor that had the built-in speakers on the side. That just it's so nostalgic that I would love a system
That's
like
what
that.
I had. I literally had that unit.
I know. You had it, Ed had it. I never had one. I always had my Tandy. And the other thing I want, and this is so off kilter, do you remember I knew 3 people who had them? Georgia was one of them. Your ex, Jamie, was a second one. I'm trying to remember. I knew a third person. I don't remember the third person. But back in the day, Gateway 2000, when they sent everything with the cow colors, they had that really weird elongated mouse.
No. I know I did. I'm thinking of the Gateway my brother has.
It was a Gateway, but instead of a regular mouse, it kind of looked like the Microsoft Natural mouse, where it's let me back up a little bit. It started and it came down and then it curved at the end to kind of fit into your hand. It was an oversized mouse that was supposed to be ergonomic, that was nowhere close to ergonomic, but it had the Gateway logo on it with like the cow colors. And for some reason that nostalgia's in my head.
I want you to send me a picture of that.
I will
So
send
in
you
my
a picture of that.
Send me a picture of that so in my flea market yard sale travels, if I
Yes.
see it, I could get it.
I have yet to see that, and then I totally.
Did you ever think about asking Ed if he still has it?
I don't talk to Ed. I shouldn't say that. I talk to Ed, but I don't talk to him in real life. We're like the Facebook friends now.
Yeah. You should message him and see if he actually has it, because like you, some people actually hold on to old shit.
That is true.
So
And the one thing that I'm after, purely for nostalgia value, which blew my wife's mind at the flea market, is I want a Blockbuster rental clamshell VHS
like the
case.
plastic.
The one that you used to get the tapes in at Blockbuster when you pulled the case behind it.
Oh,
and it
that'd
had
be
the stack.
fucking easy to get. Are you kidding me?
No, try it. You go on eBay, you're paying $25 a pop for them.
Fuck out of here, really?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna look that up right now.
Because
I'll
my
look that up.
first job ever was at a video rental store. We had just the clear cases, which I got tons of those. But to have the Blockbuster, and when we were at the flea market, they had tons of the pre-owns. They had the Blockbuster stickers. They were plastic coated, but they weren't the huge clamshells that had all the info on it. And that is one thing I would love to get for a little nostalgia collection. That kind
Relic
of
from the-
what's that?
relic from the Cold War era.
Relic from the Cold War, but the fact that my first job was a video rental store, and kids
That's when video rental stores had adult sections.
exactly.
Yes.
And the best was my boss at the video store. He was this huge guy, and we had a video camera in the adult section. And whenever we get a bunch of kids in there, he would love going in, opening the door, closing it, leaning up against the door, goes, "Gentlemen, let's see some IDs," and watch the kids freak out. And he loved doing that.
Yeah.
But these are the nostalgia things that I would love to get.
God, we're old.
We are old. And kids today will never understand the excitement of going to the video rental store on Friday.
No.
No.
You had to go early, though.
Yes, you did.
You didn't get, especially if there was a new release. If you didn't get there
Yes.
early, you were never getting it.
We used to, 2 doors down from my video store was a Little Caesars. And we used to have a deal with them. They would call us on the weekends looking for a new release. We would find one, hold it, which we weren't allowed to do, but we would trade it for Little Caesars Crazy Bread. So
Oh,
they
that's a
would,
fair deal.
They would come over, they give us 2 orders of Crazy Bread, we give them their videos, and that was our transaction.
Good times.
It was good times.
Good times. Okay.
Speaking of good times, this was a good time, sir.
It was. 15-2 was probably marginally better than 15-1.
I would agree with that. Yes, yes. And I am sure we got both sides of the conversation this time.
Yes. Very much yes.
So, but like you said, 40somethingpodcast.com, Twitter
At 40-something show.
at 40something show. We haven't done Facebook yet because I just don't see a point really. I'll be honest.
Or and you go to Trevor's personal YouTube page to see this on video. Just go to the 40-something
Podcast, yeah.
Yeah, click on it. It'll
Click on the real video. It's not real
Yeah.
video. It goes to YouTube. So
real
don't freak
videos
out.
still exist.
I honestly don't know.
I'm gonna look that up tonight.
So,
Maybe not. I think I'm gonna eat after this and then look it up.
Yeah. Well, sir, it was a pleasure doing business with you and
Yeah.
enjoying the last hour and a half.
Yes, it was. It was nice to get this recorded.
The second time.
Yeah, a second time, sort of, kind of. So
Yeah, we will see everybody in 2 weeks, which will put us. Ooh, it'll put us at a Halloween episode.
yeah, spooky vision.
Ooh, we should dress up. No, not really.
No,
No.
I mean,
I'll be Mario. You be Luigi. How's that?
no.
Nah, I don't think so. I'll be Zelda. You be Link. I'd look pretty in the ears and wig.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And on that note, guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks.